Welcome to Mystic Realms Recap. Links are in the description below. Please show some love of the author and me. On to the show. The super armor absorbs more and more energy. The energy defense capability on the surface of the super battle armor has also become stronger and stronger. Su Yan controls the super armor, constantly collecting meteorites, and the more he collects, the more he collects. The defensive ability of the super armor has reached its limit. The energy reserves of these meteorites have basically been wiped out, but Su Yan still continues to absorb these energies. The super energy reserve of the super armor is getting richer and richer, but the super energy is still insufficient, and the energy of the super armor still cannot meet the needs of these energies. It also needs to devour other materials in order to improve the defensive power of the super armor and become stronger and stronger. The energy reserve of this meteorite is far from enough. However, Su Yan need not worry. This meteorite is like a crystal nucleus that stores energy. Su Yan's super armor can continuously collect these energies, then devour them, and store them in the energy bank of the super armor. The devouring ability of the super armor is really extraordinary. If it is an ordinary planet, the devouring ability of the super armor will probably be exhausted, but this super meteorite can continuously release a huge amount of energy, and store the energy is getting bigger and bigger, and the energy reserve of the super armor has reached a saturated state. If it is swallowed up, the super armor will collapse directly. Su Yan said. Well, it's time to call it a day. The super battle armor quickly gathered the energy on its body, then lowered downwards, heading towards the ground. There is a passage below, leading to a dark universe. The super battle armor fell to the ground, then flew towards the ground, and entered the ground. Su Yan's super armor, after flying on the ground for a period of time, landed in a vast and boundless universe. This universe is very spacious, and there are all kinds of creatures here. These creatures, in this universe, do not have any rules, they live freely, without any constraints. Call out. The super armor landed on the surface of a planet, and then stopped. The energy shield on the super battle armor expanded instantly, enveloping Su Yan, forming a solid energy shield. The next moment, a violent tremor suddenly came from the surface of the planet. What is this? Su Yan looked around in surprise. Rumbling. The space around it shook violently, as if something had come out of the ground. Swish. Suddenly, Su Yan felt a strong pressure and rushed out from the ground. It's a battleship. Su Yan took a closer look. This warship seems to have come out of nowhere. The energy inside the super battle armor has been completely full. Su Yan controlled the super armor and flew towards the battleship. There were more than a dozen people standing on the battleship, and when they saw the super battle armor flying, their faces showed serious expressions. Su Yan descended outside the battleship. Inside the super battle armor, a golden glow was released. The golden glow instantly shrouded the super armor, making the super armor look like a golden sun, emitting dazzling brilliance, enveloping Su Yan. Super armor, is it really so fishy? Su Yan looked at the super armor. Su Yan could feel the powerful energy emanating from the super armor. This energy is very powerful, very terrifying. The super energy of the super armor is stronger than his actual strength. It is many times stronger than the energy he possesses. The super armor is like an endless source of energy, which can continuously supply the energy of the super armor. Such a super armor is really terrifying. This super battle armor is a battleship, but it is a huge metal battleship. This metal battleship is used to load items or weapons, or to transport supplies. Rumble. On the metal battleship, there was a green trembling sound suddenly. What happened? The group of people looked at the metal battleship in bewilderment. The energy of the super armor is still being replenished, but the energy on this metal battleship doesn't seem to be full yet. Could it be that this super armor absorbs too little energy? Su Yan frowned. Impossible, my super battle armor has devoured so much energy, how could it not be enough? Su Yan was puzzled. The super energy of the super battleship is about to overflow the battle frame, But this super battleship still hasn't filled up the super battleship. Could it be that this super warship can't carry that much material at all? Suddenly, the energy fluctuations on the metal battleship intensified. Brilliant energy laser beams burst out from the metal battleship, frantically blasting towards the energy shield of the super armor. These bright energies are all composed of laser light. Every energy attack has a very terrifying destructive power. If it is bombarded on the energy shield of the super armor, the shield of the super armor will absolutely be unable to resist, and it will even be destroyed in an instant. The super energy on the super armor is running crazily, absorbing all the laser energy into the super armor, and then transforming it into super energy reserve energy. 0. The energy inside this super battleship seems to be insufficient, so this super battleship wants to attack the super battle armor. Don't let him break the shield. With a thought in Su Yan's mind, the super armor instantly activated. Su Yan manipulated the super battle armor and slammed into the super battleship. Boom! The super battle armor slammed into the super battleship. The speed of the super battleship is very terrifying. In an instant, the super battleship was knocked out. A huge metal beam of light spewed out from the inside of the super battleship, and then slammed into the super battleship. The super energy of the super battle armor poured into the super battleship in an instant, and then the super battleship exploded. A huge group of light, from the explosion of the super battleship, bloomed a mushroom cloud. Su Yan was suspended in midair, looking at the exploding mushroom cloud. He sighed slightly. There should be tens of thousands of soldiers in the super battleship just now. Those soldiers were all dead. The defense of this super battleship is very strong, but under the attack of the super battleship, it can't resist for a long time. This super warship is made of metal and should have a powerful energy shield, but it can't stop the attack of the super warship, and all these soldiers were killed. Su Yan shook his head. It was a pity that such powerful technological means could not stop the Hyperion's attack. Although the attack power of the Hyperion is very powerful, the attack of the Hyperion cannot destroy the defense of the super battleship. Su Yan began to control the Hyperion, and continued to rush towards the next target. The Hyperion's speed was extremely fast, and before long, it crashed into the second super warship. Su Yan manipulated the Hyperion and rushed towards another super warship. Under the impact of the Hyperion, it exploded. Su Yan controlled the Hyperion and continued to ram the super battleship. Boom! The last super battleship was also reduced to ruins under the impact of the Hyperion. The Hyperion continued to fly forward. Su Yan piloted the Hyperion and flew towards the next target. 320. The Hyperion drew an afterimage in the air, and crashed into the battleship in an instant. The defense of the Hyperion is far several times stronger than that of a super battleship. The Hyperion's super energy shield is fully capable of withstanding the impact of the battleship. The super energy inside the Hyperion dissipated crazily, turning into a white mist and disappearing. The Hyperion was not damaged, it just consumed too much energy. Call. Su Yan breathed a sigh of relief. Su Yan steered the Hyperion and continued to fly forward. Not long after, a super war army was discovered. This super chariot is completely black, with countless electronic instruments arranged on it. Is this the supercar? Su Yan was very surprised. The shell of the super tank is very similar to that of the Hyperion. This super chariot is also inlaid with countless crystals, which can make the super chariot rotate continuously. Boom! On the super chariot, a huge flame energy cannon suddenly rose. Boom! This energy cannon slammed into the Hyperion. The hull of the Hyperion was pierced by the energy cannon, and a huge scar appeared on the surface of the Hyperion. However, the wounds on the surface of the Hyperion are healing at a speed visible to the naked eye. The Hyperion is made of super materials, and the resilience of super materials is very scary. Super materials, even the master of the universe, are not willing to give up easily, so they have strong resilience. The Hyperion is a very powerful treasure. The defense of these Hyperion ships far surpasses the Hyperion ships. Su Yan manipulated the Hyperion and rammed into the super tank again. Bang bang. Su Yan's Hyperion crazily crashed into the super chariot. The defensive capability of the Hyperion surpassed that of some special warships. The Hyperion hit the super chariot continuously, creating cracks one after another. Ka ka ka. There were bursts of ear-piercing sounds. The Hyperion's defense is slowly weakening. Su Yan watched this scene with a sneer. This super chariot can only last for such a short time, and the Hyperion will be repaired soon. The speed of the Hyperion is too fast, and the impact speed of the Hyperion is even more terrifying. Boom. The Hyperion slammed into the super tank. Boom. One after another loud noises came, and the energy shield of the entire super battleship could no longer support it, and it exploded completely. The shells of the super warships flew towards the Hyperion and landed on the Hyperion. The Hyperion also suffered heavy damage in an instant. The shells of the super warships fell on the surface of the Hyperion and exploded. Numerous cracks instantly appeared on the surface of the Hyperion. All of this is due to the Hyperion's defensive energy shield being bombarded by shells. Although the Hyperion's defensive energy shield is powerful, it is still vulnerable to these shells. The Hyperion can't be compared with a super warship. Buzz buzz. Inside the Hyperion, there was a piercing chirping sound. Inside the Hyperion, there are already huge cracks. Su Yan manipulated the Hyperion and flew towards the outside of the Hyperion. Su Yan piloted the Hyperion and flew towards the super battleship. The energy weapon system in the super battleship has not been activated yet, so it is impossible to repel the Hyperion at all. More than half of the energy shield inside the Hyperion has been destroyed by the energy weapon system. Moreover, the cracks on the Hyperion have also reached a certain level. If it cannot be replenished in time, the Hyperion will soon collapse. Whoosh! The Hyperion made a sharp turn, dodging the attack of the energy weapon. Boom! A shell hit the Hyperion, leaving a charred scar on the Hyperion. Su Yan's complexion turned pale, and he quickly steered the Hyperion to flee quickly. On the way of fleeing, the speed of the Hyperion dropped significantly. Su Yan piloted the Hyperion, while trying to repair the Hyperion while flying. Su Yan drove the Hyperion, galloped 100 kilometers, and came to a meteorite. This meteorite is just in the range of the energy storm. On the meteorite is a super soldier. Beside the super chariot, there are still two Zeus more standing. When the two saw Su Yan driving the Hyperion rushing over, their faces were full of surprise. Who is that person? Could it be some great force in the universe? The eyes of the two fell on the Hyperion. They felt a dangerous aura from the Hyperion. This breath made their hearts tremble. The super soldiers on the Hyperion are all dead, and the Hyperion can only be driven by human beings to drive 2.5. In this case, only the person with that powerful force can do it. Su Yan's Hyperion quickly rushed towards the super chariot. The two Zeus more were taken aback for a moment. They didn't expect that that person would dare to go straight to the super chariot. No, stop him. The two men looked at each other, and then immediately chased after the Hyperion. The speed of the two was extremely fast, and in the blink of an eye, they came to the front of the super chariot and blocked Su Yan. The men surrounded the super chariot on one side. Su Yan snorted coldly, controlled the Hyperion, and ruthlessly bombarded the super soldier. Boom! The two streams of energy collided together, and a group of dazzling rays of light erupted, spreading in all directions. Boom! Another burst of violent noise erupted from the super chariot. At the center of the confrontation between these two energies, huge cracks spread rapidly. The cracks on the Hyperion continued to expand. This scene stunned the two Zeus more. The Hyperion also doesn't have that kind of powerful life that can provide energy. While the Hyperion is under attack, it will also consume energy, making the Hyperion continuously dimmed. How is this possible? How did the powerful defense of the Hyperion break down so quickly? Among them, Zeus more said in shock. The other man shook his head and sighed. I don't know which powerful person this person is, and his strength is so powerful. The strength of the Hyperion has exceeded their expectations. They never expected that the Hyperion's defense would be so poor. When the two were shocked, the Hyperion had already arrived at their side and slammed into the Hyperion fiercely. Puff! Both of them were subjected to the huge shock force of the Hyperion, and they vomited blood and flew out backwards. The Hyperion also paused in the air, and then continued to fly towards the distance. Call. The power of the super energy cannon far exceeds that of ordinary energy cannons. The attack of two super energy cannons bombarded the Hyperion, shaking the Hyperion for a while. Under the bombardment of the super energy cannon, the internal structure of the Hyperion produced huge fluctuations. The number of energy cannons on the Hyperion has dropped sharply, and cracks appeared on the Hyperion. Damn! Su Yan frowned, and the speed of manipulating the Hyperion became even faster. Su Yan controls the Hyperion and flies towards the distance. Boom! Su Yan's Hyperion had just been flying for a few minutes when it crashed into a huge rock. Dozens of cracks were blown out of Su Yan's Hyperion immediately, and the entire Hyperion also suffered some minor damage and became dilapidated. Under the attack of the super energy cannon, Su Yan's Hyperion became more and more unstable. A crack finally appeared inside the Hyperion, and the Hyperion also collapsed completely, turning into a piece of scrap iron and falling to the ground. Su Yan controlled the Hyperion and flew towards the super chariot. Call out. Su Yan flew in front of the super chariot, controlled the Hyperion, and blasted towards the super chariot. Boom! The super chariot instantly shattered. Suji steered the Hyperion, and flew towards the super battleship again. No, he wants to attack the investigation-class warship. Zeus Moore's expression changed, and he immediately flew towards the super warship. Under the control of Zeus Moore, the 30 super battleships on the super battleship turned their guns one after another and blasted towards Su Yan's Hyperion. Boom! Under the bombardment of the super battleship, the Hyperion was deformed piece by piece, and finally turned into a pile of parts and fell down. Zeus Moore looked at Su Yan's Hyperion with a gloomy expression, and a cold killing intent flashed in his eyes. The Hyperion's defense is too terrifying, even a warship can hardly destroy the Hyperion. On the Hyperion, apart from the threat of the super energy cannon, only the super energy shield is left. On the Hyperion, there is still a powerful energy shield. That's why the Hyperion can persist to this extent. The Hyperion is a piece of top-notch equipment, a very precious piece of equipment. But this piece of equipment has a fatal flaw. The energy shield on the Hyperion can't last for a long time. Once the energy shield fails, the Hyperion will also completely collapse. Su Yan controlled the Hyperion and rushed towards the super battleship. Stop him for me, Zeus Moore yelled angrily and waved his hand. A group of super warships shot at the Hyperion one after another. The Hyperion kept dodging the attacks of super warships. Boom! A super warship exploded on the Hyperion. Although the Hyperion's defense was strong, it was no match for a super warship after all, and was blown to pieces in an instant. All the energy on the Hyperion was also lost. Super warships flew towards Suji at this moment. Su Yan controls the Hyperion, avoiding the attack of those super warships. Su Yan took control of the Hyperion and flew to another super battleship. Two super warships slammed into each other. The super battleship exploded, and the energy cannon also bombarded the Hyperion. Cracks immediately appeared on the Hyperion, and then collapsed. Boom! A shell from an energy cannon happened to bombard the Hyperion. The Hyperion, which Su Yan was controlling, was instantly defeated under the bombardment of the energy cannon and turned into countless parts. Swish swish swish. Countless parts floated up in the air and scattered on the ground. Ha ha ha. Such an attack can be destroyed even by a fighter jet. Unfortunately, you super warships cannot even be compared with fighter jets, let alone destroy the Hyperion. Boom! Inside the super battleship, there was an angry roar from 183. A Zeus Moor, with a height of more than 200 meters, flew out from the super warship, holding a golden giant sword, and slashed at Su Yen. Call out. Su Yen controlled the Hyperion and quickly avoided Zeus Moor's attack. The golden giant sword in Zeus Moor's hand slashed directly at the Hyperion's body, leaving a deep bone scar on the Hyperion's body. The energy shield of the Hyperion was also shattered by Zeus Moor's attack, and the Hyperion was sent flying by Zeus Moor's super sword and fell to the ground. All electrical systems, energy systems, etc., on the Hyperion were also destroyed, and the energy of the Hyperion was also exhausted. Only the most basic energy shield and energy cannon are left for the energy of the Hyperion. Once the Hyperion is destroyed, Su Yen controls the Hyperion and becomes an ownerless thing. Under the control of Su Yen, the Hyperion slowly floated in the air. Zeus Moor looked at the Hyperion floating in the air, secretly surprised. This Hyperion was even more powerful than he had imagined. He had tried his best, but he still couldn't destroy it. Whoosh! A super warship shot towards the Hyperion. Seeing super warships flying towards him, he felt disdainful. The Hyperion has been completely damaged by his own attack. If there is no Hyperion to resist, he will be able to easily destroy the Hyperion. But he was not in a hurry to destroy the Hyperion, instead he stopped the attack. Su Yen manipulated the Hyperion to approach Zeus Moor, and then rushed towards Zeus Moor. Zeus Moor saw Su Yen rushing over, with a smile on his face. You are really overconfident, just relying on a Hyperion, you dare to provoke us? I have a super weapon, enough to kill you instantly. Su Yen controlled the Hyperion and approached Zuzel. Boom! The Hyperion collided fiercely with Zeus Moor's super battleship. A violent tremor came, and the two super warships burst open at the same time, turning into fragments flying around in the sky. A huge shock wave spread out, sweeping in all directions. A series of super battleships surrounded Su Yen and launched an attack on Su Xian. Super warships can easily crush fighter jets, but they can't pose any threat to Su Yan's Hyperion. Super chariot, give me a blast. A huge super chariot flew out from the Hyperion. The size of the super chariot is extremely huge, with a length of tens of thousands of kilometers, and it is full of people. The surface of this giant super chariot is covered with densely packed muzzles, and the light of each muzzle shines with a bright metallic luster. A number of Hyperion cannons were placed on this super chariot. Rumble! Cannon lights shot towards Su Yen. Su Yen controls the Hyperion, quickly dodging the cannon light. The Hyperion avoiding most of the distance. Moreover, the Hyperion can also absorb the attack from the Hyperion and pass it on to the rest of the artillery. So the Hyperion's evasion ability is very strong. Even the Hyperion, it is difficult to hurt it, only to be hurt by it. The Hyperion, while dodging the attack, rammed into the Hyperion one after another, trying to smash them into pieces. Whoosh! One after another, the super warships broke apart and turned into a pile of wreckage. After the Hyperion smashed several super battleships, it flew towards other super battleships again. A Hyperion cannon blasted towards the Hyperion, trying to crush the Hyperion. The Hyperion also fired a Hyperion cannon to meet it. Boom! The two collided together. Su Yen was also not to be outdone, and immediately increased his energy. The Hyperion is made of special materials, and its defense is amazing. I want to see how much energy you still have. Zeus Moor snorted coldly, and flew towards the Hyperion again. The Hyperion fires another Hyperion cannon. The Hyperion cannon fired and shot towards Zeus Moor. Zeus Moor waved the Hyperion again, and bombarded the Hyperion. The Hyperion gun collided with the Hyperion again, and another explosion occurred. The energy of the Hyperion cannon was also absorbed by the Hyperion. Boom! The energy of the Hyperion is also about to run out, and the Hyperion is attacked by a super battleship again. The Hyperion was knocked into the air by super warships one after another. Rumble. The Hyperion hit the ground, knocking houses down. Zeus More steered the Hyperion and flew towards the Hyperion. He wants to take the opportunity to destroy the Hyperion. However, when Zeus More just approached the Hyperion, the energy of the Hyperion was filled again. How is this possible? The Hyperion hasn't been completely worn out yet? Zeus More was astonished. Su Yan controlled the Hyperion and flew over Zeus More. Hyperion, continue the attack. Su Yan's eyes flashed with icy light, and he ordered to the Hyperion. The Hyperion fired the Hyperion cannon again, blasting at Zeus More. The Hyperion bombarded Zeus More. Zeus More was bombarded by the Hyperion, and he flew into the sky, fell down, and fell into the ground. The Hyperion of Zeus More was bombarded by the Hyperion and fell to the ground. Although the energy of the Hyperion cannon was absorbed by the Hyperion, it could still cause huge damage to Zeus More, causing Zeus More to be seriously injured. The Hyperion is constantly attacking the super warship. The shell of the super battleship was bombarded by the Hyperion cannon one after another, and it became shattered and shattered constantly. Puff. When the Hyperion cannon is fired continuously, it will also release a special toxin, which makes the Hyperion's energy consumed faster. Every time the Hyperion cannon is fired, a lot of energy stars will be consumed. The Hyperion cannon continuously attacked the super warship. Under the attack of the Hyperion cannon, the shell of the super battleship kept collapsing and finally become as transparent as glass, which will shatter at any time. Su Yan manipulated the Hyperion and flew towards the super warships, ready to fire the energy cannon again. The cannon light from the Hyperion bombarded one of the warships. This warship just stood in front of the Hyperion cannon. Boom! The Hyperion bombarded the battleship's cannon light, and the battleship was smashed into pieces, turned into a pile of scrap iron, and fell to the ground. The cannon light of the Hyperion disappeared, and the battleship also disappeared. Mama Zhao was gone. The Hyperion cannon also consumed energy. Damn, what's going on? Zeus More roared. The battleship is his trump card and his heritage. It's a pity that the Hyperion cannon even destroyed his super battleship. The super battleship is one of his main strengths. Without the super battleship, his power will be greatly reduced. Damn it, how dare you destroy the Hyperion cannon, you wait. Zeus More looked at Su Yan coldly. Haha. What else can you do to me now? Su Yan sneered and said. Zeus More was impatient, but he couldn't be impulsive, otherwise, he would die. Now, he has already suffered serious injuries. If Su Yan catches up with him again, even if he can escape Su Yan's attack, his own situation will not be too good. Zeus More looked at Su Yan, and he left immediately. Not long after Zeus More escaped, the super battleship was blasted into pieces by the Hyperion gun again, scattered on the ground. After the super warship consumed all its energy, it was completely destroyed. Zeus More's face turned pale for a while, and his heart ached terribly. The value of the super warship is more than 100 times stronger than the previous warships. The super battleship can be regarded as one of his trump cards. Once the super battleship is destroyed, Zeus More's strength will be greatly reduced, and he wants to create a super battleship again in the future. It needs to spend a lot of energy, maybe he needs to spend 1.5 years to make it. Su Yan controlled the Hyperion, and chased Zeus More in the direction where he was escaping. Boom! The cannon light from the Hyperion bombarded Zeus More's back, and Zeus More's body flew upside down immediately. Su Yan controlled the Hyperion, and continued to fly past Zuzel. Seeing this, Zeus More kept dodging the Hyperion's cannon light. However, the speed of Zeus More is not as good as the Hyperion after all. The Hyperion is incredibly fast. The Hyperion caught up to Zeus More, and fired energy cannons. Zeus More is again under fire from the Hyperion cannon. Zeus More kept 580 to avoid the attack of the Hyperion gun. Boom! Zeus More's super warship was once again torn apart by the bombardment of the Hyperion. No, I can't go on like this, I must leave here as soon as possible, otherwise, I will die here sooner or later. Zeus More growled unwillingly. Zeus More fled to the distance in a super battleship. Call out. A cannon light suddenly shot out from behind, and ruthlessly bombarded the super battleship. The super battleship was bombarded by the Hyperion. Damn it, why hasn't the Hyperion cannon exhausted yet? Zeus More cursed angrily. This super battleship is his last whole card. Zeus More was manipulating the super battleship, running away crazily. However, the energy cannon of the Hyperion can always catch up with Zeus More. No matter how fast Zeus More is, he cannot reach the attack range of the Hyperion. Zeus More was soon hit by the energy cannon. What? Zeus More spat out blood and suffered extremely serious injuries. He couldn't bear the cannon light, of the Hyperion cannon anymore. He was hit by the bombardment and suffered extremely serious injuries. Haha, you can't escape. Su Yen controlled the Hyperion and caught up with Zeus More. Then F***K bombed Zeus More again. Zeus More suffered another hit from the Hyperion cannon. Zeus More kept avoiding the attack of the Hyperion cannon. The Hyperion cannon kept attacking Zeus More, not giving Zeus More any chance to fight back. Pooh. Zeus More spat out a mouthful of blood again. The Hyperion cannon has severely injured Zeus More. Zeus More's Hyperion has no way to resist the energy cannon of the Hyperion. After the super battleship was destroyed, Zuzel could only flee in embarrassment. Zeus More knew that he had nowhere to escape, so he had no choice but to fight the Hyperion. No matter how powerful you are nothing more than a human being. Zeus More yelled and slammed into the Hyperion cannon again, ready to fight Su Yen to the death. Seeing this, Su Yan's face sank. The energy cannon bombarded Zeus More again. Zeus More was blasted out again. Damn, am I going to die here? A touch of despair surged in Zeus More's heart. The energy cannon kept bombarding him, devouring the energy in his body. Zeus More became weaker, and his eyes were full of fear. Don't waste your time, you have no hope of surviving under the fire of the Hyperion at this level. Su Yen said coldly. Although the energy cannon can hurt the opponent, it doesn't seem to have much lethality for Zeus More. The energy cannon is incredibly powerful, but it consumes a lot of energy. Su Yan's energy cannon can continuously attack, consume the opponent's energy continuously, and then replenish energy. This is the strength of the Hyperion. Zeus More knew that he had to deal with Su Yen as soon as possible, otherwise, he would be consumed by Su Yen to death here. Zeus More rushed towards the Hyperion, ready to head with the Hyperion again. The power of the Hyperion is too huge, and Zeus More can't compete with it at all. The energy cannon of the Hyperion cannon bombarded Zeus More again. Zeus More's body was blown out again. Zeus More was seriously injured again, and his body was almost useless. Ha ha ha, you have no energy, right? Now, you just wait to die. Zeus More laughed. Su Yen controlled the Hyperion and continued to bombard Zeus More. The energy cannon bombarded Zeus More every time. Zeus More kept screaming that he was useless. No, we must get rid of him as soon as possible. Su Yen thought secretly. The Hyperion cannon can continuously fire energy cannons. But the consumption of Hyperion is very huge. No, I must get rid of this human as soon as possible. There was a sinister look in Zeus More's eyes, and a strange smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. All-out attack. Zeus More said. The super battleship fired a group of super cannons and bombarded the Hyperion. The cannon lights collided fiercely in the space, intertwined with each other, and bombarded each other. The energy cannon blasted Zeus More's super cannon again. The energy cannon bombarded Zeus More again. Zeus More was blasted out by the energy cannon again, and suffered terrible damage again. He was about to collapse. I will never admit defeat. Zeus More gritted his teeth, his eyes were full of determination. He didn't want to admit defeat, he absolutely couldn't admit defeat. Zeus Moore controlled the super battleship and fired a super cannon. The super cannon instantly bombarded the Hyperion cannon turret. The Hyperion cannon turret was smashed again. The cannon light bombarded Su Yan again. Su Yan controlled the Hyperion to keep flickering, avoiding Zeus Moore's attack. Then bombarded Zeus Moore. Zeus Moore was severely injured again, and his entire body was shattered by the energy cannon. If you're enjoying my content, please consider donating a coffee. Or checking out my shirts on TeePublic. Do not. Zeus Moore roared in pain, his body was completely exploded. Afterwards, Suji controlled the Hyperion cannon's cannon light, and grazing away towards the distance. The light from the Hyperion cannon penetrated layer after layer of void in an instant, and came thousands of meters away. Su Yan looked at a huge meteorite beside him. He manipulated the Hyperion and bombarded the meteorite into powder at once. Continued to fly forward. Wherever the Hyperion light passed, the void was cracked inch by inch, and the spaces were shattered one after another. The energy of the Hyperion is still being consumed continuously. The Hyperion cannon turret has been overwhelmed, and it can no longer support it. It is necessary to find a suitable energy source as soon as possible. Su Yan thought. Now the Hyperion has no energy. If this continues, the Hyperion gun turret Xiong will be scrapped. Su Yan manipulated the Hyperion to shuttle through the void, grazing toward the depths of the universe. The speed of the Hyperion is very fast. Not only does the Hyperion have an incomparably strong defense, but it can also withstand ultra-high temperature and pressure, and will not be easily melted by the high temperature. The Hyperion shuttles constantly in the universe, but fails to find suitable energy to supplement the energy consumed by the Hyperion cannon turret. No, if this continues, the Hyperion gun turret will definitely be scrapped. In Su Yan's heart, Tian Ting had a bad premonition. The situation he is facing now is already very dangerous. Energy is being drained at an extremely fast rate. Su Yan controlled the Hyperion and continued to fly towards the depths of the void. Besides Su Yan, there are asteroids. Energy is almost exhausted. The Hyperion has also been unable to fly forward for a long time, and the speed of the Hyperion has reached the limit. Su Yan had no choice but to control the Hyperion and flew out to the other side. This time he did not choose to fly towards the solar system, but flew out towards other places in the universe. Under Su Yan's control, the Hyperion's speed was increased to the extreme, and it flew towards a distant unknown direction. Under Su Yan's control, the Hyperion's speed became extremely fast, and it left the star system soon after. After Su Yan left the star system, he went on to the universe, looking for cosmic resources suitable for him to repair the Hyperion cannon turret. The Hyperion continued to fly towards the distance. Speeding all the way, he has left the star system. This universe is very vast, and the speed of his Hyperion is not too slow. The energy of the Hyperion was constantly being consumed, so it had to slow down its flight speed. During the flight, Su Yan was also searching. He wanted to find some suitable energy sources to supplement the Hyperion's consumption. The Hyperion was getting slower and slower. Su Yan's heart became more and more anxious. The speed of the Hyperion has been getting slower and slower, and it won't be long before the Hyperion will definitely be scrapped. And his energy storage will also be completely consumed, and then he can only be slaughtered by super battleships. What can I do? Should I give up? Su Yan thought in his heart. He was unwilling to give up like this opportunity was too important to him. However, the state of the Hyperion is very bad, and its energy has been completely consumed. The Hyperion's energy is running low, and if it doesn't replenish energy quickly, it will be scrapped. This thought flashed through Su Yan's mind. Inside the turret of the Hubral gun, there is a huge energy deposit. As long as this mineral deposit is found, the loss of the Hyperion can be replenished. After Su Yan thought for a while, he controlled the Hyperion to search for the location of this mine in the universe. In the universe, there are no high-tech weapons. So Su Yan controls the Hyperion, galloping through the universe. The speed at which the Hyperion sailed has been reduced to the lowest. There's a power deposit. When the Hyperion was flying in space, it suddenly saw a black stone floating in the void in the distance. This energy deposit is very far away from Su-Yan's location. However, they couldn't escape Su-Yan's detection range. The Hyperion immediately flew to the vicinity of the energy deposit, and then controlled the Hyperion to fly over. Su-Yan controlled the Hyperion, flew towards the energy mine, and stopped, not far from the energy mine. Su-Yan controls the Hyperion, stays around the energy mine, and observes the environment around the energy mine. The energy deposit is only the size of a fist, and its surface emits a light blue light. Su-Yan is observing the energy deposit. While observing, Su-Yan also discovered anomalies in energy deposits. When the energy deposit was absorbing energy, there was actually a tiny beam of light gushing out from the energy deposit and from the top of the vein. This energy column is blue, floating in the sky. 0. Su-Yan's energy has already been consumed 7 to 88 times, and he has no way to continue to maintain the Hyperion. Fortunately, the Hyperion, under his control, flew relatively smoothly. He controlled the Hyperion and continued to fly towards the mine. The entrance of the mine was blocked by an inexplicable force, making it impossible to enter. However, after the Hyperion sailed for a certain distance, the force at the entrance of the mine gradually weakened. The Hyperion finally entered that can be the king of mines. After the Hyperion entered the energy deposit, it immediately stopped sailing, suspended in the air, and remained motionless. What's going on here? Su-Yan is a little puzzled. The Hyperion's voyage has always been very calm, and there are very few waves. But the current situation seems to be a little different. Could this be a side effect of the Hyperion? The energy of the Hyperion is running out, and the main body of the Hyperion has also shown signs of serious energy depletion? The energy of the Hyperion is exhausted, and the Hyperion will be completely scrapped and turned into waste. No, the energy must be recovered as soon as possible. After Su-Yan thought for a while, he immediately decided to restore energy as soon as possible, otherwise the Hyperion would really be scrapped. In this universe, it is too bad that there is no energy replenishment. Thinking of this, Su-Yan didn't dare to delay any longer. The Hyperion started turning 9 in the energy deposit. Under the rotation of the Hyperion, one after another energy particles were thrown out from the cabin of the Hyperion. There were a lot of energy particles on the deck of the Hyperion. The energy particles of the Hyperion were continuously thrown out and landed on the deck, forming energy balls one by one. The Hyperion is recovering its energy. The recovery of energy requires some special means. The recovery speed of the Hyperion is not fast, so it will take longer than ordinary battleships. The Hyperion is recovering its energy, but Su-Yan is controlling the Hyperion and galloping towards the energy block in the energy deposit. The Hyperion was traveling very slowly. This slow sailing speed made Su-Yan feel very uncomfortable, so he urged the Hyperion to fly 173 at a faster speed. After flying the Hyperion for about 3 hours, Su-Yan discovered that the energy around the energy deposits became thinner and thinner, and even a faint light could not shine through the shell of the Hyperion. But the Hyperion's sailing speed was still very slow, as if stuck in a quagmire, approaching the depths of the energy mine step by step. This time, Su-Yan didn't wait any longer. He controlled the Hyperion, and quickly flew towards the depths of the energy mine. Although the speed of the Hyperion was very slow, at this moment, the speed increased a lot. The Hyperion has already rushed into the King of Mines. Boom! At the moment when the Hyperion entered the mine, there was an explosion in the mine. Afterwards, the Hyperion shook violently. Waves of shocks came from the energy core of the Hyperion. Boom! Huge energy blasting sounds are constantly coming from the energy core. No, the energy core of the Hyperion is under attack. Su-Yan's face darkened. Under such circumstances, the energy of the Hyperion is being rapidly weakened, and the degree of energy decline is even more violent than before. When the energy of the Hyperion is exhausted, it is the end of the Hyperion. Su Yan didn't hesitate, and immediately mobilized all the energy, all of which gathered at the energy core of the Hyperion. After Su Yan mobilized all the energy, he controlled the Hyperion and continued to drive toward the depths of the mine. The energy of the energy is constantly disappearing, but Su Yan also found that the speed of the Hyperion has unknowingly accelerated a lot. It seems that here is the depth of the energy mine. Su Yan thought secretly, and then increased the frequency of energy transmission. Under Su Yan's enhanced energy output, the Hyperion's sailing speed has once again increased several times. After sailing for a minute, the Hyperion finally reached the depths of the energy deposit. At this time, the Hyperion's sailing speed was already close to the speed of light. At the moment when the Hyperion entered the depths of the energy mine, a halo of light suddenly appeared in front of the Hyperion. That's an energy ball? Su Yan was very surprised. In the depths of the mine, a ball unexpectedly appeared. Su Yan immediately controlled the Hyperion and quickly approached the position of the energy ball. Bang! At this moment, a violent explosion sounded, and an energy ball exploded directly. The terrifying energy explosion produced violent ripples on the energy shield of the Hyperion. And the energy shield of the Hyperion also had many cracks. Hold on, Hyperion. Su Yan was extremely nervous. Although the energy core of the Hyperion has been repaired a lot, the damage to the energy core is still very large, so Su Yan dare not take it lightly. The time that the Hyperion sailed in the energy mines was not too long, but the speed of the Hyperion's sailing has actually increased so much. Su Yan's manipulation speed is also at the limit. In his opinion, sailing in this kind of energy deposit is too long, it will cause some accidents, and it will affect the restoration of the Hyperion. Boom! A violent explosion sounded. Another energy ball was detonated. A total of 30 energy balls were detonated. This number is very exaggerated. But this time, the energy cannon controlled by Su Yan failed to fire the energy shells, and was injured instead. The energy core of the Hyperion was hit hard. On the hull of the Hyperion, 2 thin scars were left. This scar is very obvious, like being pierced by a rocket. Scars are left on the outer shell, which shows that the defensive ability of the outer shell is declining sharply. The Hyperion's energy core was damaged, and the defensive power of the energy shield was also partially reduced. Su Yan controlled the Hyperion and continued to drive toward the depths of the vein. The speed of the Hyperion has far exceeded the speed of light, so Su Yan is not worried about the problem of running out of energy, but just hopes to reach the depths of the mine vein as soon as possible to recover the energy. At this time, Su Yan also discovered 2 tiny cracks on the hull of the Hyperion. Are these energy fragments the cause of damage to the Hyperion? Su Yan narrowed his eyes, and thought in his heart, the destructive power of these energy fragments is so tyrannical, the shell of the Hyperion can't bear its damage. The power of this energy fragment is really beyond Su Yan's expectation. It seems that I still underestimated the energy fragments, the threat of this energy fragments is really too great. Su Yan thought in his heart. Boom! Bursts of huge energy explosions were continuously emitted from the hull of the Hyperion. Under Su Yan's control, the Hyperion shell changed direction again, and 1.9 avoided the energy fragments. Boom! A series of violent roars sounded on the hull of the Hyperion, making Su Yan have to adjust the way of sailing. In the energy core of the Hyperion, the energy core has been damaged for a day and a half. And the interior of the Hyperion, the energy in the energy core, is only about 7% left, but it is still preserved and is recovering rapidly. Only 50% of the energy core of the Hyperion is left. Su Yan looked at the data of the energy core of the Hyperion shell on the screen. Only 50% of the Hyperion's energy core is left. If the shell of the Hyperion is also destroyed, then the energy core of the Hyperion is really completely finished. The energy core of the Hyperion shell can still last for a year. The energy shield on the Hyperion shell is also endless. The energy core of the Hyperion shell can maintain the life of the Hyperion shell for about 1 year. In the inner space of the Hyperion, there is also a huge energy stone. That huge energy stone is the core of the Hyperion. If the energy core is destroyed, then the Hyperion will also completely collapse, turning into a pile of scrap iron. Inside the Hyperion, there are many secrets. The energy core of the Hyperion was destroyed, and the impact on the Hyperion was not very great. But for Su Yan, the Hyperion is his most precious thing, and repairing the Hyperion will also be of great help to him. Therefore, Su Yan does not allow the Hyperion to make any mistakes. The energy shield of the Hyperion has been damaged, and the Hyperion has been severely damaged. I must find a place as soon as possible to repair the Hyperion. On the shell of the Hyperion, 23 has already appeared some fine cracks. The energy shield of the Hyperion is almost reaching its limit. The energy shield of the Hyperion can only last about a year outside this layer. The outer shell of the Hyperion is already covered with cracks, and these cracks are still gradually expanding. The repairability of the Hyperion is far inferior to that of Su Yan. Therefore, it is said that the hull of the Hyperion should be repaired as soon as possible. It seems that we can only go there. Su Yan thought of a place, that is the depth of the vein. There are strong energy fluctuations there, and there should be a lot of mineral resources there. Su Yan controlled the Hyperion and drove towards the depths of the mine vein. Su Yan sailed in the depths of the mine for a day, and finally came to a certain area deep in the mine. The repairability of the Hyperion is only 40%. Su Yan said in his heart, if this continues, the energy shield of the Hyperion will not be able to last for too long. The repairability of the Hyperion is only 40%. However, it took Su Yan a month to repair the hull of the Hyperion. The energy core inside the Hyperion is also about to be damaged. We must find a way to repair the power core as soon as possible. In Su Yan's mind, thinking. No wonder those miners choose to mine ore in this place. The miners here are all repaired here. Their familiarity with the ore veins is absolutely incomparable to outsiders. Repairing the energy core here is definitely much more efficient. Thinking of this, Su Qi immediately accelerated forward. Su Yan drove the spaceship and galloped forward. Outside, there are already several huge warships chasing and killing the escaped miners. Each of these huge battleships has a large number of energy weapons. Under the attack of these energy weapons, the miners could not escape at all and could only be slaughtered. Su Yan drove the spaceship and kept avoiding the energy weapons on these battleships. Under the attack of the energy weapons on these battleships, the energy cores of the Hyperion are also constantly damaged, and the energy in the energy cores is getting weaker and weaker. As time goes by, these energy cores will completely disappear. The Hyperion would really be doomed. And inside the spaceship, there are also a lot of energy crystal debris. These crystal debris are all spars inside the Hyperion. As for the spar inside the Hyperion, it is not known which cosmic race left behind. Inside the Hyperion, there are still a lot of energy ores. Those energy ores also contain many regions. During the process of driving inside the spaceship, the Hyperion encountered many dangers. But Su Yan all broke through. Although Su Yan has no way to use the technological weapons on the spaceship, Su Yan's ability is also very powerful. Under Su Yan's control, the various technological weapons on the Hyperion have played an excellent role. These technological weapons were bought by Su Yan with a huge amount of wealth, and they are worth a lot. However, with the help of these technological weapons, the energy shield inside the Hyperion has almost been repaired, and Sudi has also found a place suitable for repairing the core of the energy. That's on the mountain next to the repair energy core. There is a groove at the top of the mountain, and there is a piece of black mineral in the groove, which is exuding a strong energy fluctuation, showing that this black mineral is exactly the mineral needed to repair the energy core. Su Yan flew inside the Hyperion for half a day, and came to the vicinity of the repairing energy core. More than half of the repair energy shield on the Hyperion has been repaired. And the speed of this repair is also very terrifying. As for the energy core inside the Hyperion, only 1/3 of it has not been repaired yet. In this third of the place, cracks are still spreading. And inside the Hyperion, there are already cracks everywhere. In this short period of time, the repairability of the Hyperion has been reduced by 2/3, which can be said to hurt the enemy 1000 and self-damage 800. The energy needed to repair the energy core is too huge. If there is not enough energy for repair, the Hyperion will not continue to operate at all. Su Yan didn't expect that repairing the energy core would consume so much energy. The energy needed to repair the energy core is hundreds or even thousands of times that of ordinary energy. This is still a defense system for repairing the energy core, just a pure defense system. And what if it is an energy cannon defense system? Su Yan couldn't even imagine what the Hyperion's energy shield would look like by then. Su Yan kept searching for the location of the repair energy core in the Hyperion. In this area, Su Yan searched for a long time, but still did not find the core of the repairing energy. What should I do? Su Yan frowned and kept thinking. Repair the energy core. Su Yan has been looking for it. Su Yan has always felt that repairing the energy core is the easiest to obtain. After all, the energy core is just a place to store energy. Su Yan did not expect that repairing the energy core would be so troublesome. Su Yan thought of many ways, but he couldn't find a way to repair the energy core, which made Su Yan very helpless. I have to spend more time fixing the power core problem. The load capacity of the Hyperion is about 10,000 tons, and with such a large load capacity, even some interstellar motherships can't match it. Su Yan has been flying the Hyperion for such a long time, and the energy consumption in his body is also very large. Su Yan couldn't care less now, so he could only return to the interior of the Hyperion. After parking the Hyperion, he began to recover the energy in his body. At the same time, he set up a layer of defense system on the Hyperion. In order to prevent Su Yan from being hurt in the event of an emergency in the spaceship, and just when Su Yan was busy, another unexpected thing happened around Su Yan. In front of Su Yan, a spaceship flew from a distance and hit Su Yan. Su Yan was taken aback. This spaceship is actually coming towards him? Moreover, Su Yan could still clearly feel the energy fluctuations in this spaceship. Could it be the spacecraft of that cosmic civilization? What do they want? Su Yan wondered. Are those people from the cosmic civilization trying to capture Su Yan? Could it be that these cosmic civilizations are planning to capture me to threaten the combat spaceship? Su Yan guessed in his heart, and at the same time, increased the protection of the spaceship. The spaceship's defense system was activated, and the spaceship that hit it also hit the repair energy cover. This time, the spaceship also suffered a backlash, and the energy shield of the entire spaceship exploded at this instant. The spaceship that hit it turned into ashes and burned in midair. There were dozens of people inside the spaceship, shouting loudly inside. However, their shouts did not attract anyone's attention. The repair system inside the Hyperion is quickly repairing the energy core, and Su Yan is rapidly restoring the energy in his body. Su Yan's energy shield is also about to disappear. This also made Su Yan very helpless. He originally wanted to repair the energy core to make up for the damage of the Hyperion. Now, Su Yan has no choice but to give up this plan and maintain the energy shield first. At this time, 2 more combat spaceships collided and rushed towards Su Yan's place, and the energy shield of one of the combat spaceships had been completely repaired. This is an interstellar mothership, and there is a woman in this combat mothership, holding a spear in her hand, and the spear stabs towards Su Yan's energy shield. Seeing this, Su Yan quickly manipulated the Hyperion to avoid it. At this time, another battleship also rammed towards Su Yan's place. Su Yan quickly steered the Hyperion and retreated. However, Su Yan was unwilling to give up. He continued to steer the Hyperion, heading towards the 2 battleships. The 2 battleships collided together, and the main gun of the Hyperion fired a beam of light, hitting one of the battleships, but it only left a white mark on the battleship. It cannot be destroyed at all. Not to be outdone, the woman immediately launched an attack on Su Yan. Seeing this, Su Yan immediately maneuvered the Hyperion to avoid it. The attacks of the two battleships failed again and again, and wounds appeared one after another on the Hyperion. Repairing the energy shield can still last for a long time. Su-yen couldn't help secretly rejoicing. If he hadn't dodged just now, maybe he would have been blasted into pieces. The people of the cosmic civilization are really crazy, their attacks are endless. Su-yen said coldly. However, it costs energy to do so. No matter what, get rid of these people first, and then go find the repair energy core. Su-yen made up his mind secretly. At this time, the attacks of the two battleships became more and more fierce. Suji controlled Hyperion to dodge continuously. Although the Hyperion is powerful, it is a bit too much for such a fierce attack. Boom! Another energy cannon landed on the Hyperion's energy shield, causing the energy shield to tremble slightly. This time, the energy shield was finally broken, and the damage to the energy shield was still intensifying. It seems that I have to deal with that woman as soon as possible, otherwise the Hyperion will definitely be damaged, Su-guan secretly thought. Afterwards, Su-yen took control of the Hyperion and flew forward again. Su-yen controlled the Hyperion and flew towards the two battleships again. Under Su-yen's control, the energy cannons on the Hyperion continuously fired towards the two battleships, causing the two battleships to fly back and forth in the air. The energy ammunition inside the Hyperion also consumed a lot. Su-yen knew that this was not going to work, and she had to get rid of that woman as soon as possible. Su-yen controls the Hyperion, constantly shuttling between the two battleships. At the same time, they continuously attacked the energy shields of the two battleships, breaking up the energy shields. In this way, when the energy shields of the two battleships are broken, the energy of the energy shields will be much weaker. At this time, Su-yen's mechanical arm is constantly controlling the Hyperion. Boom! An energy cannon was fired, and on the Hyperion, it exploded, and the energy shield was instantly shattered. And under the control of Su-yen, Su-yen controlled the Hyperion and rammed towards the energy shield of another battleship, and that woman also controlled the battleship and rammed towards the Hyperion. Go! The two battleships collided with each other, and a huge crack suddenly appeared on the Hyperion. The energy shield was also hit by the energy cannon, and it was instantly shattered. The energy shield of the Hyperion collapsed instantly. Seeing this, Su-yen quickly steered the Hyperion to retreat rapidly. At this time, the energy shields of the two battleships disappeared at the same time. These two, Zhao planets, one is in the south, the other is in the north, in two directions, and the two planets were attacked at the same time. The Hyperion was also severely damaged, and those people from the cosmic civilization were not idle. Group after group of people from the cosmic civilization flew over from all directions, trying to sink the Hyperion. Seeing this, Su-yen didn't dare to delay, and immediately controlled the Hyperion to escape in another direction. At this time, the two planets were destroyed at the same time, and the energy shield also disappeared. And those people from the cosmic civilization drove various aircrafts and chased after Su-yen. Under the control of Su-yen, the Hyperion is galloping in the void of space. However, those spacecraft of the cosmic civilization are not decorations, they have been clung to Su-yen. Su-yen controlled the Hyperion to fly continuously, but the void of the universe was too vast. After flying for a few days, he got lost. All the functions on the Hyperion are very advanced, but the various instruments on the aircraft have been severely damaged. Now that the energy is exhausted, the flight capability of the Hyperion has also become relatively low. What should I do? Am I going to be wandering in this cosmic void forever? Su-yen frowned. This star field is too big, and he has no way of determining where he will fly to. However, in this cosmic void, there are also many cosmic creatures. If Su-yen can meet a flying beast, maybe he can use this flying beast to find the core position of the restoration energy. The level of this cosmic creature should not be low, and the wisdom is not low, maybe it can help him find and repair the energy core. When Su-yen was thinking, he suddenly discovered a problem. There was no communication equipment on the Hyperion, not even a communicator. Moreover, the environment here is very dark, and he can't see anything clearly. Could it be that I have to stay here until the energy of the universe is exhausted? If the energy of the universe is exhausted, even my energy shield can't stop those energy cannons. Su Yan sighed inwardly. When the Hyperion was flying, because the flying speed was too slow, he didn't start the engine either. In this case, he can't fly too high, because his energy shield will be hit by the energy cannon. 557 Su Yan had no choice but to continue to fly the Hyperion. He wanted to see how far the Hyperion could fly. No, I have to find an energy shield to defend against the cosmic energy cannon here. Su Yan thought to himself. His figure is constantly changing, trying to find the existence of the energy shield. The energy shield of this cosmic void is very thick, and this is a star field. The energy inside is very complex. Not only there are various energy shields, but also the number of various energy shields is numerous. It is not an easy task to find an energy shield. This is in the void of the universe, and it is impossible to detect it with an aircraft at all, and can only look for energy shields with the naked eye. Su Yan manipulated the Hyperion, constantly looking for it. The Hyperion wandered around in this void for a long time, but he didn't find the existence of the energy shield at all. At this time, the speed of the Hyperion has dropped to the extreme, and it has reached a very dangerous state. If you don't pay attention, you will be hit by cosmic energy bombardment. The Hyperion kept spinning in the air, constantly avoiding the attack of the cosmic energy cannon. Su Yan's heart also hangs. If he can't find the energy shield in time, then the Hyperion will stay here forever. No matter how he flies, he can't fly out of this star field. Su Yan was extremely anxious. He constantly adjusted the flying direction of the Hyperion, trying to find a more suitable place for the Hyperion to dock. The Hyperion continued to fly, and Su Yan's body was constantly shaking as he flew, so he had to stop flying. The Hyperion, if this continues, the Hyperion will be hit sooner or later, and the Hyperion will be completely scrapped as a result. Su Yan thought to himself. At this time, Su Yan's eyes suddenly saw a white light in the distance, which was the energy mask. Su Yan hurriedly flew the Hyperion over there. The white light spot was already very close to the Hyperion. Su Yan manipulated the Hyperion to rush towards the white light spot. The Hyperion was flying so fast, it almost reached the vicinity of that white spot in the blink of an eye. Su Yan saw the white light spot, and his face showed joy, finally found the energy shield. The Hyperion flew into CDFB, that white spot of light, and after that, Su Yan felt a powerful energy shield suddenly wrapping him up. The energy in the white light spot is very strong, and Su Yan feels that this energy shield is very strong. Even the aircraft of the Hyperion can't destroy this shield. One can imagine how strong the defense of this energy shield is. However, Su Yan does not intend to use the Hyperion to break that shield. Although the Hyperion is powerful, it will definitely consume a lot of energy to fly over like this. Moreover, in this way, he will not be able to find and repair the energy core, and may even be trapped to death in this cosmic void. Let this energy shield exist for now. Su Yan put that energy shield into the inner world. After Su Yan stayed in the Hyperion for a while, he found that the energy in that white light spot was very rich, but it was not like other planets that emitted strong flames, but a kind of pure energy without the slightest impurity, which was very beautiful. Su Yan observed carefully in the energy shield, and found that the ball of pure energy was very soft, as if it had a warm touch. This group of energy also has a special ability, which can condense the energy into a ball, and the surface of this ball has a faint transparent luster. Like glass, it can isolate the attack of cosmic energy and protect Ningjizhong. It appears that this is an energy shield. Su Yan was excited. He didn't expect that there was such an energy shield in this cosmic void. However, after Su Yan carefully studied the energy shield for a while, he found that the energy shield seemed to be made of some kind of metal. His energy can't pass through that energy shield at all, that is to say, this energy shield should not be used for fighting, but can be used for defense instead. However, this energy shield is even stronger than he imagined. After all, he had never heard of it when he was on Earth before, and even a power user didn't have such a powerful neighborhood shield. This energy shield is really too powerful. Su Yen sighed with emotion. He remembered when he had just entered the different space. At that time, he did not have the ability to use his own energy, so he could only rely on his own strength to fly. Now he finally has his own energy. With this energy shield, he can fly in space without being oppressed by cosmic energy. He now has the Hyperion, as well as other spaceships. The performance of this spaceship is also very good. Now he can safely control the Hyperion, because he can carry out his plan. He found that the Hyperion's energy was basically exhausted. Thank you for watching Mystic Realms Recap. Please like, share and subscribe. Have a great day.